You use mobile applications, web applications, and digital devices every day which makes use of APIs and web services. But what exactly are they and how do they differ? When you like this video and hit the subscribe button on this video right now, you are basically sending a request to the server via an API call. And once this server receives your request, it processes the request, registers your like to the database along with your subscriptions, and sends back a response still via the API, and you receive it. And when your device receives this response, it basically increments the like on the screen, plays a little like button animation, and increments the subscription. This interaction is in fact conducted thanks to a web service, which is most likely a RESTful one. So now we have used both APIs and web services to explain this phenomenon. But now, how do they even differ and what are they even? Let's start with an API. An API stands for Application Programming Interface. They basically define the set of rules and data formats applications use to communicate with each other. APIs can be used for web-based services like we just saw, but they can also be used for softwares, libraries, and operating systems. Taking the example we earlier saw when you like this video, you are basically communicating with the server via an API. So once you click on the like button, an API call is made to the server via an endpoint, and this server returns a response which now triggers the like counter to increment on your screen. Now, what are web services? Web services are basically a specific type of APIs which run over the web. Web services basically allow any type of application which may be written in any programming language to communicate with each other via a standardized protocol like HTTP protocol. Web services can be RESTful, SOAP-based, and use other communication standards. We are not going to go in depth into what RESTful and SOAP means in this video. Basically, REST stands for Representational State Transfer, and SOAP stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. REST is a more popular web service when it comes to the public domain, and SOAP is more used in the private domain such as banking systems. So taking an example when you like this video. So when you like this video, the action is basically sent as an HTTP request to the server, and this request is most likely a post request via a URL. Now with what we just said, you may already have a brief idea of what is going on right here, what is actually an API and what is a web service. Now let's look at the key differences of web services and APIs. APIs are a very broader concept, and they can be used for any type of interaction between different softwares, software components, and this is not only done over the web. For example, if you use an application which uses the Bluetooth of your device, the application basically communicates with the components which provides Bluetooth in your device via an API. Or if you use Instagram, for example, Instagram needs to access the camera in order to function fully. And for Instagram to access the camera, it needs to access this camera via an interface, and this interface is basically the API. So you see, for APIs, you don't need to make use of the web for two applications or two software to communicate with each other. APIs can be used whether or not you are connected to the internet, as long as two devices agree on the data format and the data type they are going to use to communicate with each other. Whereas web services, on the other hand, has to be run on the web. That is why the name is web service. Web services are generally bound by protocols like HTTP and HTTPS, and are also bound by standards like REST and SOAP, as we earlier saw. Whereas on the other hand, APIs are not required to use these protocols and standards. The applications can define their standards and protocols and basically interact with each other that way. Another key difference is that web services generally use formats like JSON or XML, whereas with APIs, the formats are basically defined by the softwares or the applications, and both applications agree on which formats to use in order to communicate with each other. So if you have been following this video attentively and you have understood everything that has been said in this video, we can safely conclude that all web services are APIs, but not all APIs are web services. You have basically understood the difference between a web service and an API, and you know what is going on here. So when you like and subscribe to this video, you're making use of a web service. And to be specific, this is a RESTful API, and this will handle the interaction between you, your phone, and the server. So thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more explanations about concepts like this, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment and tell me which concept you want me to explain next, and see you in the next video.